Well, I got it down quite a bit from yesterday. I had about 20 more minutes of work on it after I stopped recording, and used a round and a flat. You can see the flat did pretty good on this side if it'll focus in, which I doubt. And on this side, you can see with the round really worked some, stretch it out some more. But I developed a crack back here by the handle and one up here on the tip. I got to take that out so it doesn't spread more. That's a session on the belt grinder. Which I leave unplugged because keeping it plugged in, I think, is what killed this one. Unavoidably noisy. Nothing I can do about it. It's also pretty powerful. You can see, gone. You can still see some lines there, but that's not a crack. That's just the way it looks. So, time to light off the forge. One of the reasons I don't show my shop all that often is because it's pretty messy. So, light off my forge. Looks like this. One handy dandy map. Shove that in there, open it up. Lots of people like to do that by throwing a paper towel or something, a ball of whatever, into it and clean it back that way. I think this is a little bit cleaner and, well, nicer. Let's put this thing in here. I gotta let it go probably 2-3 cycles of flattening out this side still on my machine. I've still got my flux brick on the bottom, so if I have to do more fluxing, I can do it without ruining a good brick. I want to thank you for the folks in the family that have commented that I need a mic so I can be heard a little bit better. I'll get on that. Time to pause. So here we are at the press. Let's point out that this side is higher than this side because this side you can see is bolted on, so it's still adjustable. I'm trying to find the right place for it to be and meet up. And then I'm going to weld it back here where you can't see. And that'll make it permanent. And Tommy, since you asked, I readjusted, and this is a little bit closer now. And if I get an opportunity, I will show you where I clamp it off on the other end. I'm going to get my steel and see what I can do. One piece of steel. And we shoot. flatter. In case you're wondering, yeah, that piece of rebar does in fact get hot. I can feel it here, and these gloves are rated for 923 degrees. So, put that back in the fire for a few minutes. Probably going to do that about 2-3 more times just to make sure it's nice and good and flat and even. You don't need to watch all that. Well, I'm at the point where I've drawn it out about as much as I think I need to, and as much as I can, because you got scale on both sides of the blade that once that's ground off, I'm going to get about 1/8 of an inch or so left, and I still got to do the tapering and beveling and all that stuff with that, so about done. Now I'm going to put in the distal taper. Distal taper is where the base of the knife blade is thicker than the point, or wider than the point, looked at from above. So looked at from above, I'm going to take just the last third of it, put it in and squeeze it a little bit thinner than the rest of it. That saves grinding it off, and it's also better for the steel to be forged than it is to be cut, we'll say. I'm just grinding it down. Do the same thing with the bevels. I do that on the anvil with a hammer the old-fashioned way, putting in the bevel of the blade so the top of the spine is thicker than the edge. And then you grind from there to make it perfect. Or as close to it as you can get. I'm going to get my steel. You can see it's not fully hard all the way at the back. That's because I'm not even going to bother, or hot at the back. Because I'm not even going to bother working with it. That puts me at the point where I'm going to start forming the handle next. For that I got to move the camera. It's not going to be at the handle. I'm going to take it, and if this were the knife blade, what I'm going to do is right about here, I'm going to put a notch in it to differentiate the blade from the handle, and you take that notch and you work it back. So I'm only going to take about 3 inches from the back of the blade with the rebars on it, put that notch in it, because I know that 3 inches going back, I can work out to about 4.5 once I thin that part to the width of a handle, which is about 3/4 of an inch. Science. We just thought it'd be important.
good? I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. Just ran out of gas.
Oh.
This is gonna self-light, don't let it scare you. Because it's so hot inside still. That's how you do it. hopefully this is my last go around with the handle. I think I've got it long enough now. I had to go back twice and re-notch and get some more material to bring back for the handle. So looks like that now, if you can see it with all the glowing. And I'm right at 4 1/4 inches long, so I think that'll do. Let's see about getting it flat. Always helps to start off flat when you're starting a new part. Wife is back. Let's pause this. And with the handle done, I'm going to start working on the tip. Just like I said, remember, is a reverse curve or a pre-curve, so that when you do the beveling of the blade, making the edge thinner, pushes the material back up and around to fit like it's supposed to be. You guys are thinking the tip would be this way. Actually, you do it this way. The rebar is starting to let go on me, so that might be a switch over to a pair of tongs coming up soon. This time, put the tip on takes time. Because you're actually banging it against yourself and having to hold it. But also because my left hand doesn't hold near as well as my right, and 3 strokes will do that to you. I know what you're thinking. 3 strokes, what the hell are you doing hanging out with hot steel in a garage? Well, the reason I can do this stuff is because I do this stuff. If I just sat in a chair, I think I'd have been dead a long time ago. So that's why I beat on steel. Fighting the odds. Well, try to get the tip put in and the bevel's on if I can. My arms are giving out. Temperature is rising here in southeastern Arizona. It was at 85 degrees when I started this morning, and that heat box puts quite a bit of heat into the garage as well. Wears you out. But I want to get that in because the next step is annealing, and that's where you heat it up to a critical temperature, 1500, and let it cool as slowly as you can. For which my good friend and bladesmithing mentor, Jeremy Vineyard, here at Iron Claw Blades in Sierra Vista area, gave me a bucket full of wood ash. So, put the bevel on and then reheat it and put it in the wood ash. And one more go around on the tip. It's been 2 that you didn't see. Hit that in rather than the steel. We'll take that back just a little bit. on the bevels next time. Now, the bevels are about the most unfun part to watch you could think of. It takes a lot to get them started, a lot of whaling on it. You're basically starting at the spine of the blade and working it down to get it thinner towards the edge. It takes a bit of banging. It takes accurate banging, because if you get too much out, you're going to have too many hammer strikes you got to grind out. So you got to hold that hammer just right when you're hitting. Keep it flat and keep it right. Don't think I'm going to show that. Nah, you don't want to hear me cussing when I strike wrong. Hang on. Well, that's it for the bevel. Never as good as I'd like it to be. You got to hold it at an angle against the anvil, so that, well, so I can get my hands to do it right. You got to hold it at an angle like that while you're hitting it flat, and that's kind of hard. So, and the rebar kept bending out on me. Probably should have went to tongs by now. I forget that part. So I'm going to take it out of the fire once it's hot, shove it in the wood ash, come back tomorrow, cut off the rebar, and I will have a knife-shaped object. Let me show it to you when it gets hot enough. The annealing process takes out, or normalizing, takes out all of the stresses and crap that I've put into it by beating on it with a hammer and the press and whatever else we do to it. So that hopefully puts it in a nice soft state, so I can grind the handle area flat and put a couple holes in it for the handle. At that point, it starts looking more and more like a knife, because I'll be taking it over to the grinder, getting all the scale off, make it nice and shiny, and go from there. We'll see. Let's go see if it's hot enough. Certainly looks like it. 1800, 1700. It's hot enough. It's actually too hot. There's ways of fixing that. It's called brush it off. Brush the scale off of it. It's pretty bad that even the brushing part is sufficient to bend it. Back in the heat again, because you want it really to, I mean, for real, go as slowly as you can get it. Well, while it's not glowing hot, you can maybe see what it looks like. You can see the tip, I did a little too much pre-curve, didn't get it all out. So I'll fix that on the grinder, making it something like a sheep shank or something good, we'll see. Till then, later. So anyhow, it's one of the reasons I call Forged in Fire a game show, and a lot of people do, is because they don't show this stage at all. Normalizing takes anywhere between 6 and 8 hours to get done properly, to which you got to heat it up to critical temperature, and this is before the heat treat. Once you've heat treated, you don't want to get it hot at all. Well, too hot, no more than 300. Normalization is the process of heating it up so that all the atoms are aligned and stuff, and it's in a martenite. I think it's a martenite or austenite, I forget which. This isn't a textbook exam. Will not be held in the morning. It gets in a stage where all the molecules are lined up and nice and neat. And then you let it slow real cool and locks it in that state. And that's what makes it, we're going to call it soft. It's still steel, but softer, more malleable, and more cuttable by a drill bit for sure. Now, if I can't cut it with a drill bit, I have punches. I will bang a hole onto it one way or the other, including one that's a punch that has a 1/8 of an inch drill bit into it, so I know I've got a 1/8 of an inch hole. Slightly bigger, actually. It's 3/16 or something. And then after that, you heat treat it by heating it back up to whatever it depends. I have a book that tells me what temperature to heat what kind of steel up. And what you do is you go for the lowest where they're all going to be hardenable. And then quenching that in oil. I have canola oil. It's chemically the same or different from Park's 50/50, which is the industry standard. But it's like $7 a gallon compared to 40, which makes a big difference on your wallet. And I am a low budget operation, so anyway, after you've done the heat treat, you take it to tempering, for which I have my former pizza machine slant toaster oven that I put them in and take it up to 400, let it soak for an hour, stop it, let it air cool again, and do it again for 400 or 350 the second time around for an hour, and then take it out, and from there on it's tempered. So some of the things we see on Forged in Fire, where they take the knife out and they hit a piece of steel with it and it shatters in all those pieces, that's because it ain't tempered and it ain't annealed properly. And that's all there is to it. That's why sometimes you see them when they're doing their heat treating, they don't put the handle in, because that doesn't then make it hard. The handle's drillable. So if they're smart, they do that if they're going to drill. Or they punch, which takes a lot longer than a drill. So it's all about time there. Today, let's see, I started off at, it's 10 o'clock. I got 2 hours, 45 minutes in today. A lot of that time spent right here in my easy chair. This is my old former gaming chair. For those of you that know me as Opal Plays MechWarrior 5, this is my old gaming chair. So, and it is this close to the anvil. You can see the wood in the background. I do a lot of woodworking and furniture building as well. Not as much now as I used to, but my workbench, I built this. We moved in here. Now, the camera is sitting on my welding table, which is your basic Home Depot welding table with all the fixtures and all that stuff to it. My welder is a titanium 125 because I'm a budget operation. Even my preferred liquid of choice is, I think it's $3 for 6 packs for two quarts per pack. So my iced tea fix basically is $3 every 6 days. Low budget. I got another Harbor Freight bench in the back, and since this is a storage garage as well as my workshop, I don't think I'm going to pan the camera around and show just how cluttered I am, because it's pretty cluttered. I think we'll get back to it tomorrow. Got to let it cool today, and then it's too hot to work outside anymore. But, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.